So today we're here with Deputy Chief Peter Sloly, and he's been so gracious to give us our time. As Turner Fenton Secondary School, it's going to be used for our interactive motivational speaker by Karen Bell, facilitated by Karen Bell, and we're just going to go right into it. So my first question for you is, how would you define success?
Success for me, actually this question was asked of me last week. Are you contributing to your city, your society? Are you contributing to your family? Are your kids feeling that same sense of a desire to contribute? It's not money, it's not power. It isn't general recognition. It's a sense of contribution. I think if you're doing those things, then recognition will come, good jobs will come, other things will happen as a result of that. So every day making a contribution, either in your home, in your school, in your neighborhood, if you're able to a broader context, the city and society.
I found that a lot of students have issues with time management and prioritizing. So what advice would you give to students on specifically balancing their time to be able to contribute to their school, their friends, society in general?
Yeah, everybody has issues with time management and prioritization. I'm a pretty organized guy, but even I can get overwhelmed by all the things coming at me, both on the home front and on the work front. I think you have to develop a self-discipline. You need to get up early in the day. I'm not saying the crack of dawn, but if you've slept until 10 o'clock, you've missed 3-4 hours of
Right.
time for your gym, physical fitness, eating healthy, time with your kids, time with your family. You've missed all that already. You're probably now late for school, or if you're working, you're now in the boss's bad list. So you need to be able to get up and get at things early. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I go to the gym. I choose to go on the exercise bike because I can actually double task it. I can get an hour of workout in and actually bring all of my office reading. And I get all my office reading done while I'm getting my exercise done. And that means I can come home from the office an hour early and spend an hour of quality time with my daughter, a little bit of time with my wife. And that's just the way you have to work your life. So you have to be able to multitask, you have to be able to do things as efficiently as you can, and you have to be dedicated, and you have to pick the stuff that you really don't want to do that's tough, put that at the front end. Don't leave that for the end of the day when you have the least amount of time, the least amount of energy, and the other people that you may need to consult with are not available to you. Pick those hard tasks and put them at the front end.
Thank you. So, in general, what advice would you share about with students about pursuing your goals?
First of all, you got to set some goals. Fail to plan, plan to fail. This may sound a bit weird, but I have a 6-month plan, a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 20-year plan, and a 30-year plan. You make adjustments as you go along the way, but since I put that in place about 10 years ago, I'm pretty well within 5 degrees of what I originally set out to do. And it should cover all the bases. What do you want in your personal life? Girlfriends, marriage, children. What do you want in your financial life? Get out of debt, create some sort of a savings account, generate some wealth. What do you want in your professional life? Get a promotion, get a job, get a promotion. What do you want in your community life? Join a volunteer group, sit on a board of directors. When you have those goals in all those key areas and put some timelines on them, it just keeps you focused. If not, you drift. 6 months goes by and you look back and you, hey, what have I done? I've been busy, but what have I actually accomplished? 6 years go by. I've been busy, but what have I actually accomplished? And I also think when you set goals, you start to look out for things that will help you to accomplish. And when you're looking out, you're actually seeing opportunities. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, how did you manage to get on that committee that got you so close to the chief? It's because I was looking to get on a committee, and I was reading the reports that talked about committees, and I saw it, and then I asked if I could join it. It's that simple. When your head is down, focused on your own little self, your own little world, you miss all of the rest of the stuff going by you. I think people who set goals, who are active in achieving those goals, who are looking for opportunities to achieve those goals, they'll see the opportunities, they'll also see the threats.
Right.
They'll see when a company's downsizing, they'll see when curriculum is changing, they'll see whether or not there's a teacher with a good reputation of helping kids and one that's less engaged with their kids. And they'll choose to go into those good areas and choose not to go into the less than productive areas.
Are you happy at this stage in your life?
I always get a little funny about the word happy.
Are you
happy,
content?
I'm content. I am very content. I like that word, contentment. There are certainly things that I wish I could do more of, less of, that I could be more of and less of. But I feel very satisfied that at this point the good Lord's been good to me. I've been good to me, and I've produced more good than ill in the world. And so yeah, I am content on the home front and the work front.
Very good.
Not content to sit on my laurels though. Always want to push to be a better person, to make a better contribution, make a better world. And you can never be content in that respect.
So what were some challenges that you've had to face in your life?
No more or less than anybody else. Like many of the folks from Toronto and the Greater Toronto area, Peel region, Brampton, I'm a newcomer. I came as a 10-year-old from Jamaica. Parents came up with 3 boys, a young family, and my dad couldn't get work because his qualifications weren't recognized here, neither could my mother. They had to start from the bottom of the ladder and work their way up, and we had to do all the things to put food on the table and didn't have the luxuries, but they kept us busy. They got me involved in sports, which really helped me. Even with sports, I was a great athlete, but I had scoliosis as a young child. I was a professional athlete as a young man, 18 to 23 years old. I blew my back out in a sports injury and my career ended. I had to switch careers. I've been through tough relationships, some of them failed relationships, and I had to rebuild myself. So, I've had success all throughout my life, but I've also had challenges. And one thing I will say is that everybody has challenges. Success doesn't really breed more success. There's an old saying, success breeds success. I think that successfully overcoming challenges builds character. Character breeds success. Right? In your failures, in my failures that I've had in my life, and there have been some spectacular ones. If you read my resume, it sounds like I walk on water. In between walking on water, I fall down in the mud quite regularly. But it's getting yourself back up, out of the muck, realizing the mistakes you made to put yourself in there, realizing the world around you, the conditions that could allow you to get in there, and learning from those mistakes builds character and puts you in a better position to be successful going forward.
So more specifically, what were some challenges that you faced in your occupation as a police officer?
Well, when I first came on in 1988, we didn't have a lot of minority officers, females. Policing is a very conservative culture, even in this day and age, although it's much better than it was 24 years ago. I faced a lot of challenges inside the organization. As a brown-skinned guy, I was one of the few guys with an education. That may sound weird, but having an education back then was looked on a little suspiciously. Brown-skinned guy with an education, a little suspiciously. A lot of people supported me. A lot of older white guys supported me and have been great mentors. And I wouldn't be in the position I am today without their support. But a lot of other people also threw extra hurdles in front of me, tested me a little bit more. Outside of the job too, equally, when you're out in the community, you're wearing a uniform. People make certain very stereotypical thoughts about you, right? Not educated, doesn't care about the community, can't be trustworthy, it's going to be heavy-handed, and you have to work through stereotypes, both inside the organization and outside. Sometimes in my own community, the Jamaican community, the black community, I'd be looked upon with a lot of suspicion. He's a traitor, and you'd have to work through those things too. Life isn't meant to be easy. It is a struggle, but I think we're all equipped to overcome those things. As long as you recognize the circumstances you're in and you go about it in a positive, constructive way, you can get through whatever challenges come your way. Probably about 5 years after becoming a police officer. They sound a bit strange. Remember I told you I spent most of my young life focused on a professional soccer career. That's all I ever imagined doing. But my career came to a screeching halt when I injured my back. Luckily, my grandmother had threatened to kill me if I didn't finish my education. Didn't threaten to kill me, but she really promoted staying in school, despite contract offers overseas and stuff. She said, stay in school, you need an education. When I hurt my back, I was one course short of my university degree. Getting that degree under my belt as a young man was a huge, huge advantage. And really, an education has opened so many doors for me. I went back to school 10 years later after joining the job and got my MBA, but really, policing was never in my frame of reference. I joined the job because I applied to the fire department, the police department, and social services. The police got back to me first. I needed a job once my career came to an end. But once I got on the job, I started to realize, okay, this is more than just catching bad guys. It's more than just what you see on TV. You can really help to build communities. You can help to influence young people. That's when I really got interested. It was about 5 years into it. When I went back to school and did my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration, I started to realize that with an education and police experience, in a public service area, I could hugely impact on a large public institution. And through that, impact on a large city, like the city of Toronto. And that's where my real satisfaction and contentment comes in. I really do believe that every day I come in and make a difference both in individual lives through these type of encounters and in the lives of the entire city, by the decisions that I'm involved in or the policies that I help to influence and create, the programs that I help to design and deliver.
So do you feel that with your friends and your family that you were supported from the beginning?
No. This is a big, big thing when you become a police officer. In Jamaica, policing was reasonably well regarded, but not that well regarded. It wasn't where you dreamed your son or your daughter would end up, in most cases. My mother didn't sleep at night until I finished working shift work on the front line. She was very happy when I got promoted to the ranks of senior officers, when I wasn't actually out on the front lines as much. Good parents will always support their children's choices, but they'll do it with a critical eye and provide the type of advice. I hope I'll be able to do the same thing for my daughter. But it's not a profession, even as well regarded as it is in the city and in this country. It's not a profession where people automatically say, I want my child to be. And when they go there, when the children go there, they go there with a sense of real trepidation. I hope they'll be safe. I hope they'll stay the good kids that we raise them to be, even in this profession. And I hope they'll do good things. And it's not an easy profession. It's difficult work. It really tests your character, and many times our character comes up short. And you have to continually check in with yourself, have your family check in with you to make sure you're not drifting into bad habits, bad thinking, bad practices.
Accountability.
Absolutely.
So can you describe your teenage years from where you are now?
A lot of soccer. You talk about what it takes to be successful. I remember from the age of about 13 through till 19 years old, my parents, particularly my father, used to drive me all over Ontario, all over in the United States, almost every weekend, a couple of nights a week, getting me to practices, getting me to games, to tournaments. And I gave up all of my weekends, all of that social life that most of my teenage friends had. I gave that up in order to dedicate myself to soccer. And at one point, I wanted to go to a party. I was about 18, 19 years old. I wanted to go to a party. All my friends were going, and I was burnt out a bit from things. I wanted to go to a party and just let loose. And the next day, I had a training session down in Hamilton. And my father was going to drive me, as he always does. I said, Dad, I'm going out to a party tonight. And he said, you're going to go to a party tonight, you're going to be tired tomorrow. Because I've worked all week, and I'm dedicating my weekend, the rest time, to get you to where you need to go. And I'm tired tomorrow. So you tell me, if you want to go out tonight, I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. And you can get yourself to the practice. It's your choice. I'm not telling you what you have to do. I'm just telling you what your choices are. And that was the time I realized that if you want to be successful, you have to dedicate yourself.
Right.
I probably had about 5 weekends off where I actually had no soccer, and I was able to go out and hang out with my friends and watch TV and sleep and all that stuff from the age of 13 to the age of 19. But in that time, what I lost in terms of social life, I gained in terms of self-discipline, setting goals and sticking to them. And I benefited from having parents that didn't tell me what to do, but told me about the tough choices you have to make in your life and learning from that experience. I had my mistakes. I'm sure that I was hanging out with the wrong people at different times. Thank God I didn't get into any worse trouble. I'm sure that I found myself in circumstances that now, as a 45-year-old father, I would never want my daughter to be doing that. Unfortunately, as a young person, no matter how good your parents are, you're going to experiment with things. But I can tell you, having been a police officer for 24 years, it's in those moments when you're away from your parents' eyes, away from your home, and it is your decision to make. Am I going to get in that car with that person who I don't know, and is that car stolen? Am I going to take a puff on that joint, even though there's nobody around here, but maybe I'm going to get caught? It's not even my joint. I'm just going to be wrapped up in things. Am I going to drink so much and get behind the wheel of a car that I get killed or I kill somebody? At the time, it doesn't seem like anything, but the consequences of all those choices are so huge. And my message to people is, you have to make the best choices you possibly can every day, particularly in your younger years, because they can really have an impact over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 decades of your life.
So just to wrap up, any final advice you'd like to give students at Turner Fencing? Yeah,
keep doing things like this. Young people interested in how to be successful, making the effort to go out and track down people like myself. I'm not saying I'm any great superstar or anything, but it can be easy for a teenager like you to walk into Toronto Police Headquarters and sit down for a half an hour with the deputy chief. You'll find that when you make that effort, though, people like me are very interested in helping you because we were like you, right? And whether you're the CEO of a bank or you're the chief of police, we were all once in your shoes, and we know that there but for the grace of God go any of us. And I think that's one thing that young people need to be very confident that they can engage with, communicate, learn from, seek assistance from the elders in the community, the successful in the community, and you can be successful. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to learn from others who've gone that way, apply that into your own unique circumstances, dedicate the self-discipline, the self-accountability to do the things necessary, but we're willing to help. And I'm just really impressed with this school project, very impressed with you. You're a very articulate, bright, confident young lady. I hope my daughter grows up to be just like you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, we really appreciate the time that you've given us.
Thank you. I wish you every success.
Thank you.
Okay.